It's over for silver. Welcome to part 2 of the Sunday Chart Show. We've got metals, miners, dollars, and bonds. I'm your host, Steven Van Metre, and thanks for joining me today. Let's kick it off with gold. We've got gold sitting right at the relative strength indicator, sitting at 40. You want to see a number of 40 or above to show momentum's building. And sure enough, we see that gold did not get down to oversold conditions. Doesn't mean it has to. Certainly, we've seen in the past, like back here in late December, going into early January, it was not oversold, was sure enough to bring prices up. So it's coming down. We'll get a little momentum building behind it on the RSI. How about the MACD, your moving average, convergence, divergence, or crossover strategy? Because the only thing you care about is when the MACD crosses the signal line, the MACD being in black, signal being in red. If it's to the upside, that's a positive cross. To the downside, negative. It's flattening out. That's a good sign for gold here. How about Momentum Timer Pro? Takes into account an RSI over 40, a positive cross on the MACD, or Momentum Timer Pro's own internal signal. Get 2 out of 3 confirming you get a buy signal. Right now it's running 10 days of sell signal. You'll notice it's in a downtrend. This is a 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month signal. It tells you gold is trending down. So when this flips from a sell to a buy, if you decide to enter, keep your stops tight. If you're not sure what we're talking about here, I'll put a link up in the corner and the description below. It's still free for some unknown reason. And there's a guidebook so you can check out how to use it. Comes out 5 days a week. All right, let's take a look at the bigger picture. Price on gold is down. 21-day moving average headed lower, 50 days headed lower. Both momentum's broken. Only thing that's holding up is the 100-day moving average is rising. It's above all the key moving averages, but does have support from the longer-term momentum signals, and that is a positive sign. Let's take a look at what is likely to happen here for gold. It's come down to its 100-day moving average. Notice how it's rising, but here you see the 50-day peaking, rolling over, 21-day heading down. What's likely to happen if you look back to what went on in 2020, you see a big move down near the 100-day moving average. It starts to consolidate, maybe rise up a little bit, which suggests that it's going to rise back around 1900, and then it'll make a run at the 50-day moving average, which will now be in a downtrend. If it gets rejected there, well, then that tells you that the path for gold is headed lower and a likely retest of 1800, where there's a ton of buying support at. If that ever breaks, watch out below. So right now, the trend for gold should be at some point to the upside to give a nod to the 50-day moving average. Let's go on to the miners. We've got GDX, VanEck, Vectors, gold miners, and we see that momentum here on the RSI below 40. It tried to get a little bit of rally there above 40. It didn't do it. Maybe it comes back down now to retest oversold conditions. Not something that hasn't happened since January here. Or I mean December, but it's still got a chance to come down, perhaps, and retest that. How about the MACD giving no hope to the RSI that the selling is over yet? How about Momentum Timer Pro? 11 consecutive sell signals, but notably here, the 3 month and 6 month are showing this is in an uptrend. And so only on the 1 month signal do you now see a downtrend, suggesting that if you do get a flip from a sell to a buy, that there is a stronger conviction in the data here, suggesting that you should still keep your stops fairly tight, but suggesting there's some potential there. Look at this, the 21-day moving average is trending down, but notice the 50 and 100-day are rising. Again, that's what you're seeing in that bigger picture trend on Momentum Timer Pro. Below all the key moving averages, but if the trend is up, it gives you a shot that this thing could rally back. Let's take a look at GDX, see what's going on here, and it's sitting just below that 2-year volume profile mark here in red, and suggesting that perhaps price may just come down a little bit more, hit this upper end of this 33, maybe even a little below. We've seen it come down to as low as 33 and then make another run up. Usually when you see a move on the 50-day roll over and trend down, it'll tend to make another run at it at some point. So here's an example. Broke through, came down, and then make a shot up. That's what you're going to be looking for. Watch the Momentum Timer Pro signals. It'll give you some guide on what to do and when to do it. And if you're not sure, read the guidebook. All right, let's take a look at silver, because, well, from silver's perspective, it looks like it's done. It was at oversold condition, didn't do anything, didn't even flinch, just barely a bump in price, and then it's back down. Still seeing an oversold condition. MACD, no confirmation there on that oversold condition that was the end of it. Still heading lower. And Momentum Timer Pro, 11 consecutive sell signals confirming this thing is indeed in a downtrend. downtrend, and this not a pretty picture here for silver at all. How about price on the 21-day and 50-day heading lower? Momentum is bearish on it. 100-day is the only thing that's looking good, and that's not looking good for long. Below all the key moving averages, major topping pattern here in the charts. And let's take a look at silver. And we got to zoom out a bit. We're going to go to the 5-year chart, because what I want you to see is this is a topping pattern, and you've got support sitting right here around 21.87 or thereabouts. And this is, you see buyers, 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 buyers. This is a buy zone. But if this doesn't hold, you notice there's even buyers way back here in 2020. If this breaks out, all those people capitulate, turn into sellers. Your next line of support sitting at 17. And if we go back out even further, maybe to the weekly chart, let's go to the max weekly here. You can see when these structures, these topping structures break, price just blows down to the downside. So look for silver to head lower, and if it breaks below this 21.85, 87 level, floor is going out for silver. All right, let's move on to, we got dollars, which is the wrecking ball to metals and miners, still running right near overbought condition. That's at 70, sitting at 69. Remember, things can go overbought for much longer than you think. Same with oversold conditions. And with the Fed tightening, that is certainly dollar bullish. How about the MACD? Showing no signs of slowing down here. Still nice positive cross from back here in early April, and still no signs that this thing is actually slowing down. Dollar looking to go higher. Momentum Time Pro, 23 consecutive days and buy signals, and is confirming this is indeed in an uptrend. Of course, everything is green on the dollar. It is, every moving average is up above all of them, and it's clearly defined on above all of its trends over the last 12 months. Let's take a look at UUP and DXY, and we can see here is that bottoming pattern. We talked about this for a long time, and people did not believe it. There it is, heading higher. And should it have a pullback? Well, it probably should at some point, but so far, no sign of a pullback, suggesting that if this thing doesn't at least come back down maybe to 26.80 or even into 27 and then launch, I'd be surprised, but that's what I would expect it to pull back a little bit. But sometimes when things go crazy, it can just get out of hand. Let's look at the DXY, and what do we see? It's got the sights set on 120 up here, and the only question now is what holds this thing back, and the answer is there isn't much. Now let's talk about bonds, because they are just getting beat up. And you go, this is where I'm talking about silver. You could be oversold for much longer things. See, it's oversold condition. RSI is at 26, pretty beat up. You think traders will come in at some point and be snapping this up? How about the MACD? Had a positive cross here, was holding, broke down. The only question is, does it start to flip back up next week and just turn into one of these cases where it was just a little bit more down before it turns back higher? We've seen that happen before with tons of different securities. But the bottom line is, it's in a downtrend, and 22 days of sell signal. So again, if you buy this on a flip from a sell to buy, keep your stops tight, because everything, well, it's red. It's been red, and there's no sugarcoating when you see red across the board. Let's look at TLT. There really isn't much here to say other than what you're waiting for at this point is a bottom to put in. You see in the last 10 years, it's right near its 10-year lows. Big sell-off when this gets reversed due to all the shorts in here. Obviously, there's going to be some upside, but if you're a trader, you got to wait and let someone else come in and put the floor in, and then when Momentum Timer Pro flips, then you have a lot more conviction about that upside signal to buy. But for now, the trend is not your friend at all, so kind of probably want to avoid that one until it flips. All right, let's go and look at the energy sector, which is what needs to flip. If you want to know what it's going to take for TLT to turn over, at this point, you're going to be inflation needs to come down, and that means the energy sector needs to reverse. RSI sitting at 63, came down just above 40. Still, some people panic there, but no need. Its momentum has turned higher. MACD, nice positive cross. It's telling you people want to drive energy stocks higher, and they're doing it with conviction. The only thing that's bearish is momentum on the 21-day moving average. That's meaningless. This whole thing looks like a strong report. If you want to know what Momentum Time Pro thinks, well, I'll tell you, it's probably his buy signal, because 2 of the 3 are confirming, but you can get your report on Monday. Let's look at XLE, and here is, of course, the reason you're seeing the TLT so low is this needs to come to an end, and at some point, and probably you're looking at 86 now is the next line of resistance for XLE. The crazy thing is when this thing does get rejected, it comes down quickly. So as you ride this up, just ratchet your stops up, and then when it reverses, then you're all right. But keep in mind, looking at 86 to 88 is somewhere up here, next level for this for XLE, unless something changes, and I don't know what that would be. But when that changes, of course, that's when TLT will switch to the upside. All right, with that, well, thanks for being fans. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Van Metre. We'll see you back on Monday. Bye now.